Greetings, fellow armchair Imagineers. BlueDragonFive here, reacting to Shot by Shot, The Joker teaser trailer. Oh, let the good times roll.
Yes, hey there, folks. How you doing? I am very much looking forward to this movie. This trailer did a lot to sell me on it. Dragon, I'm kind of going in. I gotta say, I'm kind of going in with kind of tempered expectations here, if only because I've kind of learned my lesson from Us, where Us is a very good movie, but I was just kind of going in like, if it's not the best movie ever, then I'm gonna be disappointed. And that's not the way I want to go in and approach this movie. But suffice to say, I'm excited for it. Dragon, I think what we should do. I'm sorry I didn't go over this with you before we went on air, but I think what we should do is kind of first of all go kind of roundtable through the two of us. Obviously, basically what we thought about this project. You know, like what we because this is like the first time we've really talked about this thing. And you know, set photos and everything have been leaked and stuff, so just go roundtable like what we thought about this project before we saw the trailer, kind of like our not expectations per se, but just kind of like our overall thoughts on the project, and then just generally thoughts on the trailer. All right,
All right.
you want to lead us off?
Of course there was, I believe it was last year, there was like this whole a lot of talk about, the people have joked, so Kevin Smith hilariously they've joked about like all like the 19 Joker movies that DC has in the works. Like all these Joker movies are kind of announced, and of course they've scaled it back to just this one. But I mean, there's like talk of so is Jared Leto still in the is the DCEU, which apparently the whole time was not actually like the official name, which we're finding out. So it's uh the point is, there are a few Joker movies announced. Like, will Joker appear in like the Suicide Squad stuff they're doing, the Birds of Prey movie, any of the Harley Quinn stuff coming out, and beyond that, there's going to be kind of this standalone kind of one-off, origin movie for the Joker. Point is, nobody knew nothing when all this stuff's announced, and then we have these really cryptic, odd details that just didn't fill up people with confidence. Again, this was kind of during, I want to say it was like kind of the pre-Aquaman. Again, this is it's announced pre-Aquaman, is before like kind of some faces kind of saved with Aquaman, Shazam, and so on and so forth. So, what we knew was, okay, we got Joaquin Phoenix, good actor. We have Todd Phillips, who directed The Hangover, weird choice there. And there's talk of like Scorsese may or may not be involved. De Niro may or may not be involved. May be in the movie, may not be in the movie. Could DiCaprio again? There's since this thing was announced, there's so many wild speculative theories, and then basically there was this little kind of makeup test, kind of really brief, I guess, like 30-second teaser, and what it kind of served as was sort of like a tonal glimpse of what the movie is going for, at least seemingly, because it kind of played this song that kind of glimpsed, what Joaquin Phoenix looked like before and after, kind of the makeup, and it had kind of a feeling to it. That kind of like the way that grabbed me is like, I don't. When this was announced, I think what happened, I think myself included, I think we all kind of we just had no idea what exactly the take was for this. And I think the simple answer that I think they've kind of now illuminated with this trailer, with this teaser, is quite simply, it's sorry. Basically, I think what's kind of been illuminated about this, quite simply, is that it's a one. It's like there was Tiki. I don't know if you're aware of this. A few years like before The Dark Knight came out, I think like 2005, maybe a few years before Dark Knight came out, there was a graphic novel that came out called Joker. It's called Joker. It was kind of this graphic novel illustrated by Brian Bolland, I believe. Sorry, not Brian Bolland. By Brian. It was Brian Azzarello, and it was. God, I'm blanking on the name right now. It's this great graphic novel. Oh, Lee Bermejo. That's who the artist is. Lee Bermejo and Brian Azzarello. They're kind of a team on a lot of these really great kind of one-off kind of testaments to a character books. Like they did one for Lex Luthor and they did one for the Joker. And the Joker, the cool thing was like basically around the same time they're formatting the look for the Dark Knight. They have like a Joker with the carved smiles on the face. That was kind of the big visual thing that really kind of got in people's minds about it. So That was like again, it's like a one shot story. It's like it's an Elseworlds tale. It's like just like a very gritty real world version of the Joker, and kind of seen through the eyes of kind of an ancillary henchman character. That was the whole gist of that book. And I think that's kind of what we're getting here with the trailer. And I think that's the thing people are kind of missing, kind of the formulation of what the heck this movie is going to be, because you hear Joker origin movie, heresy. We all know, like, killing joke. It's the bylaws of the less you know about the Joker, the better. At the very least, if you're going to do something like that, you want to keep it vague and ominous, and like you never nail down a specific backstory unless you're doing something like Under the Red Hood. It's even then you don't want to know all the details, right?
Yeah, Dragon, we've got some comments from Donovan really quick. We need to go over, and then we'll get right back to you if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. So Donovan says, all from Donovan Martin. He says, loved it. Joaquin Phoenix will kill it as the Joker. I think he might be better or second best to Heath. I think it's way too soon to say he's going to be better than Heath, but we'll see. Love the grounded gothic carnival feel. His laugh was the best part. Love how they are somewhat doing the Killing Joke storyline. And then hold on, Donovan. I'll put a pin in that next comment that you have there until we get to it in the trailer. And Donovan also says, thank God this is type of an Elseworld story. And yes, Dragon, I agree. That's another point that I'm going to hit on, but go ahead, wrap up what you're saying.
Right. So in essence, like for me, like I always imagine, like if you're going to do a Joker origin movie, it might, again, they could always do this in the movie, but a part of me feels they don't need to. And they again, I think they kind of, the point is sorry, let me rephrase it. Let me put it to you this way. All right. For me, if you're going to do a Joker origin movie, which in itself, just when you say Joker origin movie before they kind of reveal they're just calling it Joker and all this other stuff that's kind of coming to light with that little tonal like makeup test and everything. He's like, okay, Joker origin movie is kind of the kiss of death, and you're going to have like a lot of backlash when DC's already kind of, again, pre-Aquaman, they're kind of hurting for some support. And like for me, I'm thinking, okay, you do kind of a Killing Joke thing where you have maybe vignettes throughout the course of a movie where you have basically you have like a different take on the Joker origin per act of the movie, maybe like a different envisioning of Batman each segment of the thing, perhaps like you could do something like that. And for all we know, for this movie, they could have like an opening where you have like a fully formed Joker to kind of tell you about the whole multiple choice thing, and that's kind of like your framing device. So you have that at the start, at the end of the movie, where he's like saying, basically telling the fanboys that, guys, just take the movie as it is, don't worry about where it fits in, because again, the movie is a standalone. I think that's the idea that's kind of been facilitated with this trip. Basically, the more marketing this movie's gotten so far, bear in mind we only have like one teaser and that little makeup test, I feel the marketing clarifies what the vision is, and I think I'm more sold with each glimpse at it. And again, I think fully been kind of facilitated. Okay, it's an Elseworlds one shot. They can take liberties because again, it doesn't. It's not going to have a sequel or anything. We don't have to worry about like if we're gonna. I mean, best case scenario, if we like Joaquin Phoenix, maybe we'll get him again, like as an official capacity as a Joker. But again, let's not even look at that. Let's just see how he does in a one-off. Let's see like what can one actor bring to the Joker, and kind of a piece without all the piece without all the hype and all the like the expectations. Like where's it gonna be like 9 movies from now? Let's just see where it goes with just one, like an art piece about like a character piece about the Joker. So that's where I'm at on it.
Interestingly, Donovan points out only the DC logo is shown, not the Warner Brothers logo at the start of the trailer.
Yep. That's true.
Okay, so that's your overall thoughts both on the movie and on the trailer, Dragon? Just checking.
Yep. Okay. Pretty good.
All right, so Dragon, this is honestly one of those movies where it's like I honestly thought when I first heard about it that it had the tendency to be like the fabled Guillermo del Toro Haunted Mansion movie, where it's like a cool idea but never gets off the ground. And honestly, just seeing footage for this thing, you're right. Todd Phillips is an odd director. I would, maybe prefer someone with a little bit more prestige behind him. But I don't know. By the way, where's David Fincher been these days? We haven't seen David Fincher since.
I have big David Fincher news. I don't know if I. Yeah, it's David Fincher news. Yeah, I didn't. I meant to tell you this, but I know what he's done recently.
What is he and recently? Quickly.
He and Tim Miller, they did this series on Netflix. They did they use a lot of Tim Miller's animation. They like his the Blur Studios technology, and they kind of outsourced a lot of animators and did all these vignettes. It's called Love, Death. I think it's Love, Death, and Robots. It basically those three titles. I don't know which order they're in. It's like either Love, Death, and Robots or Death, Love, and Robots, whichever. It's kind of it's like computer anim. Basically, they're all these animated vignettes, and I guess Fincher was heavily involved in it. So.
All right, that's fair enough. I'm just saying, Fincher. It's been a while since he's done a film, so.
What was it like? Gone Girl? Was that the last thing we saw him do?
Gone Girl was the last thing he directed, yeah, feature film wise. But anyways, I digress. I'm just saying, like, much like The Disaster Artist, this is another movie I could see Fincher dipping his toes into.
Yeah, people have been saying David Fincher Batman for many years.
Todd Phillips thing, the Todd Phillips thing, I'll admit, is kind of like the thing that's kind of tempering my expectations a little bit. Like, I can't be like overly stoked about this in the same way that I would be if a David Fincher or a Scorsese was directing it. But I will say this, Dragon. I will say this. Kyle Decker had a tweet that really summed things up perfectly. He said, this looks like B-grade Martin Scorsese with Ronald McDonald as the main character. And I'm not saying that is a bad thing. So take that for what you will. But no, I got to say, as far as the trailer is concerned, Dragon, the only thing I'm worried about is that, of course, the last time we got a live-action Joker in a feature film, it also had a very good trailer that kind of led people to believe that the movie itself would be awesome. So that's the only reason why I'm tempering expectations just a little bit. But I gotta say, just editing-wise on this trailer, it's flawless, man. It really it really kind of captures the tone and essence of what I want this movie to be. I think Joaquin Phoenix just looks like he's phenomenal in the role. I truly think it's a transformative role for him. And yeah, we'll get into shot by shot exactly what I like about it. But as of now, I am very much I'm on the hype train, Dragon, but I'm not like first in line on the hype train. I'm like, yeah, I'll kind of I'm into it. We'll see where it goes. All right, let me check the chat really quick. Okay, we're good. All right.
Yeah.
So Dragon, why don't you pull up the trailer and let's get this started shot by shot. Donovan, shot by shot is basically we literally we're gonna pull up the trailer via screen share. And we're going to go shot by shot through the trailer. Like each shot, we're going to kind of cover like, ooh, what does this mean? So we've done this before on quite a few podcast trailers, Dragon. It's a running tradition of ours. So, all right.
All right. Luckily now it's been so long, YouTube actually got the subtitles right, so we're all good.
Nice.
So, okay, so we start here. We have Arthur Fleck. So, by the way, I don't know if I think we barely talked about the Joker stuff. So, just in case we haven't talked about it before, of course, this is fun. I hope it's like a little Easter egg, but I don't know. It could just be like a really weird coincidence. But Joker's name in this one, at least again for this origin, is Arthur Fleck. Now, of course, if you kind of put that like on a name tag, you might have A. Fleck, otherwise Affleck.
Oh no!
Of course, I know Affleck's. Affleck has. Ben Affleck has the T in the name, but everyone says like Affleck. So it's like it's like a little. I think it's like a tongue-in-cheek reference to Ben Affleck. That's what I like to think it is. Anyway, so along the way here, so again we have Arthur Fleck, kind of our pre-Joker, and of course I've mentioned this about Jess Galo and kind of mentioning Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the Real World, their web series. That that show has kind of a full, basically it's a straightforward Joker and Harley, and this year, like 2019, is definitely the year of the proto Joker, because we have Gotham with all sorts of really great proto Jokers. And we have it here too, just kind of like a film. Nothing wrong with the proto Joker, but sometimes you need sometimes you need a fully fleshed out. It's like an honest to goodness Joker. But I like that we kind of live in a world where we can have both things. We have the Harley Quinn, the Joker, and we have proto Jokers in film. So, yeah. Anyway, so basically he's talking to Dr. Dr. Deborah Kane here. Now, Deborah Kane, she's kind of an obscure Batman pull, which kind of gives me some intrigue to where this movie is going from. Because Deborah Kane, she's basically there's this really great two-part. There's this really great novel that was adapted into a comic about Batman dealing with child abuse. And it was a really great thing where basically he teamed up with this doctor, who essentially was this lady. And they kind of foil it together. And Batman included like him going after pedophiles and kind of child traffickers along his war of crime. It's a really nice little story. So yeah, it's kind of I didn't know that was who she is until like someone did like a breakdown. I was like, oh, Deborah Kane, I know that. Yeah, it's neat. Anyway,
Donovan's just pointing out supposedly a behind-the-scenes picture on this movie leaked with the Adam West Batmobile of all things in the background.
Well, again, this is okay. So this movie's set in 1981, but still like kind of like late 70s, early 80s kind of era of cars. So maybe it was like the kind of
okay, Donovan. I'm gonna blow both Donovan and your minds, Dragon. All right.
Okay.
What if? And Donovan was also asking if Batman's going to show up in the movie. We'll address that question more head on towards the end of the podcast, I think. But just kind of in a tongue-in-cheek way, Dragon, you know what would be awesome?
What would be awesome?
Ralph Garman as live-action, like, pseudo Adam West Batman.
Well, I'd like it.
Oh, man. Comes rolling out in the original 60s Batmobile.
Yep.
All right, anyways.
The point is he's chatting with his doctor here, presumably his personal therapist, the person that he's basically it seems that Arthur, based on this trailer alone, is that he's seeking help and treatment, and he probably has like a weekly session with his therapist here, be my guess. Now I don't know if they're specifically in Arkham right now, but again, that's some for later. The point is they're chatting up, and she's asking, does it help? Essentially, living with his mother does it help having someone to talk to? Living, kind of caring for his sick mother, who we're going to see momentarily. Right now, we're getting a little glimpse at kind of that pseudo. Just look at Gotham here because you got to remember, Tiki, Batman Year One. One of the great things, like the thing Scott Snyder loves about Batman Year One, and I think a lot of people herald Batman Year One for doing, is that, bear in mind, it's kind of commonplace nowadays if you look at it, but. When Batman Year One came out, it was a revolutionary that captured what living in New York in kind of the late 70s, early 1980s was, because it's really crime-ridden, really dirty, and that you have like look at all these trash bags and the city and the cars and everything. If you look at Batman Year One, it pretty much looks exactly like this. And again, it's really true to kind of that dangerous. Again, like if any era of New York was like Gotham, it was the early 80s. That's what Gotham was, and it's kind of neat seeing that realized and as grungy and dirty as it can be,
Sure.
This is really cool.
I have a question. I have a question for you. Do we know for a fact if this is actually Gotham City?
Well, based on the locations we see later on, I'd say it's a firm yes. Yeah.
We have Arkham, but I don't know.
Well, there's other stuff. The point is, I
take question. It's not Arkham Asylum.
That's true, but trust me, there's some other evidence that suggests we're in Gotham. I think it's pretty safe to say we're in Gotham.
Okay, fair enough.
I'd be really shocked if we weren't.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so this is really cool. I love there's kind of like a great kind of element of symmetry within. Again, the really cool thing about this teaser, it feels almost like a short film about the movie in a way, because you have this great symmetry within the editing of this thing. So we see, look at how Joaquin Phoenix moves as the Joker here. This kind of pointed out to me. I think it's beautiful here. Look at how he moves right now. So he's just kind of like this kind of slouching. He's just kind of really walks like he has the sad man walk, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The body language that Joaquin Phoenix kind of imposes throughout this trailer, as you said, it's very short film-esque, because we get like this evolution of his body language throughout the movie, where it starts as like a very sad sack, just kind of like hunched over, pathetic looking, and then by the end, Dragon, he's dancing in the rain like Gene Kelly.
Exactly. So speaking of which, we have this we have a lot of great snippets of dialogue that I think really, again, I gotta give it this again. I'm pulling for Todd Phillips based on this trailer alone because again, this thing I think I agree with you. It's kind of a piece of art what he made here alone, and I love the snippets of dialogue. I think the dialogue within the chosen, I guess, kind of lines of dialogue that kind of are in this teaser really flesh out what I think the tone is for the movie and what I think thematically a lot of it's going. We'll see if it can stick the landing, but right now I'm definitely hooked into a lot of this great dialogue we have here about he's speaking to what his mother wants for him. That his mother, in talking to his mother as he cares for, she said, you should smile and put on a happy face. Kind of that's her philosophy. Smile and put on a happy face, and his purpose is to bring laughter and joy into the world. So, of course, knowing what ultimately happens to him, it's really fascinating that logic is kind of coming from again a sweet and innocent place, and of course, knowing where it goes is the fact of the matter is he has this great optimism.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. The fact of the matter is he has this great optimistic worldview. Go on.
I'm sorry, Dragon. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
He has this great optimistic worldview that obviously will be corrupted by the city itself. So that's the thing. That's the idea. Really has me hooked throughout a lot of this. Okay, what do you got?
Okay, so Donovan's pointing out like even creepier is that he's skinny to the bone. And yeah, I agree, Dragon. That's one of the major creep factors going on here. Like I'm definitely getting Christian Bale in The Machinist vibes. Of course, it all ties back to Batman, doesn't it?
Yeah, right here, like this right here. Yeah, he's. So what's really cool about
that? Donovan points out, love the song choice. Dragon, do we have the song? Do you know the name of the song?
Do I know the name? It's Smile, Tiki. I love it. Well, I thought we were gonna get there a little later, but trust me, there's a great reason for why that song is picked, and it's a song I have a personal history with that song. But we'll get there, folks. Trust me, there's some really cool stuff about the song choice. But yes, the song choice is quite excellent. But speaking of the whole the machinist vibe here, so again, one we see is just kind of caring for his mother is kind of one of the few things that seems to bring him genuine joy right now. Look at this smile here. It's like he's having a good time with. Again, it's a little creepy given the fact that he's kind of bathing his mother.
Definitely
right now.
Some Bates Motel vibes, honestly.
Exactly, but the fact of the matter is, again, it's like never in a million years, Tiki, would you imagine you'd feel kind of a sympathy or a compassion for the Joker,
Yeah, but you know what? I feel like this movie, it's not going to go the Maleficent route of like, oh, he was the hero the whole time.
Of course not.
Situation, you know what I mean?
So what's really cool here is, again, so we see kind of like the skinny to the rail, skinny to the bone Joaquin Phoenix here, and he's kind of staying up late and essentially writing his material, doing his jokes. This is for a really specific reason. Again, essentially what he's doing right here, he's writing his jokes, his material, and his material is borrowing from his life. And a few things you can kind of glean from this is he has insomnia, which basically would possibly explain kind of the whole thin to the rail, basically kind of again kind of the depressed kind of sad sack walk, and just kind of why he's like staying up late writing his material because the guy can't sleep. A little bit of that. He's writing about there's some comedy. He's writing some material about having mental illness, and importantly, I have this last bit that's down here. It says people expect you to behave as if you don't. A little smiley face and the don't. There. So this is definitely like the idea is that he also writes about being impoverished. He writes about kind of poverty and kind of being kind of the low rent side of Gotham. So that's the thing is that he is that this take on this Arthur Fleck character. He's a guy who again so far we see him as kind of a noble character and he's caring for his mother. The guy's got problems. He's very human, very relatable, and again he has a dream of again bringing joy to the world as his mother is indoctrinated upon him, which of course is kind of leading him down the route of stand-up comedy, which of course I have a feeling will not go well. Okay, now this to me was the most inspired choice of the thing. That I love this idea. So again, this is a really great showcase of the setting right here. Like this is again like in year one, like the idea of Bruce Wayne on his first note, the whole he goes as the veteran, kind of the vigilante Bruce Wayne before he becomes Batman. He walks down to essentially the porno theater district of Gotham, kind of the really low rent, sleazy side of Gotham. That's kind of where we're at right now. Again, this is very much kind of late '70s New York with like the porno theaters and everything. around the bend here. It's like really really kind of a trashy place.
Donovan pointing out that technically this, interestingly, with the real world tone of this movie, this could theoretically be a Nolan prequel film.
Well, I won't squash anyone's dreams. I don't think so, but okay.
I think that's about as likely as my fan theory of the misconnections and the Randy and Sandy Newman sketch being connected.
No, but here's seriously. What I love here. What I love about seeing Joaquin Phoenix in the in basically this little sign dancer thing is that this to me was it seems to be a really practical way of getting him in the clown, and facilitating the clown motif. The idea that it's like you see those guys in the corners, like like for Liberty Tax or something, like they're always dressed like Statue of Liberty. Basically, have like a gimmick where they have a guy.
Few of my best friends from high school did that, and I had so much fun driving around and making fun of them.
Yeah, you see what I'm getting at, right? It's the fact.
Yeah, I get you. I get you. It was a humiliating job.
And that's the thing. He's doing what he can to make his ends meet. So one, it's kind of a sympathetic job, but again, it kind of vaguely ties into the comedy. But again, it's a practical reason for why he's dressed up like a clown. And again, like not just like why the circus motif, why the clown motif. And sometimes we facilitate that other places like Gotham. There's kind of a circus in the DNA with the Valeska brothers and all sorts of stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything must go. Sorry. Anyway, so then we have these punk kids. They steal a sign, and of course, alleys are never safe in Gotham. Don't let anyone tell you different. Alleys are never a nice place to be in Gotham. Steer clear of all alleys. So Fleck here, he gets beaten in the alley, and this is what I love thematically, and I love that. Yes, it's on the nose, but I love it. The fact that he's literally beaten down by Gotham. It's like the city is literally beating him down with like these kids. They kind of taking a sign, they lead him to the alley, and they kind of beat him, and he gets beaten down a lot by the city throughout this whole thing. Again, I love the symbolism of that, and I just love how it's it's going to form. Basically, Gotham is creating the Joker, and I love that idea. You know me, I love when we can do stuff like that.
And what's interesting is that I'm just noticing is that he's got the same face makeup on that he's going to be wearing in the at the end of the trailer, just with sans the fake wig, you know what I mean? Sans the rubber mask kind of wig.
That's true.
So it's interesting that like throughout the trailer, that makeup evolves along with his physique.
It does, and of course, it's really neat that we have the flower and then the green hair that kind of foreshadow the Joker, and also the vest is very similar to. It might be the identical same vest that he wears later on. So again, the idea is kind of formulated. Again, we're seeding it in visually and just kind of teeing it up with stuff like this. Of course, later on, it's going to kind of fully kind of train. It's going to make the transformation very literal. And the cool thing about the makeup, by the way, I don't know if we've mentioned this before, but. It is very directly. I double checked. It's very directly John Wayne Gacy influence. Like John Wayne Gacy, he had the blue, stuff around the eyes. Bear in mind, it's like a smidge different, but again, for the most part, just the blue around the eyes and the big red lips. It's very similar to John Wayne Gacy. Which, of course, there's a really great Easter egg in this teaser for John Wayne Gacy. It definitely spells it out for you. Okay, there's definitely like a lot of real gritty clown stuff in this thing. All right, so again, symbol of Gotham beating good people down. The symbol of this kind of this optimist who's trying to make it that it will manifest itself into. I just love this idea. Like you have a nice guy in Gotham. Essentially, for all intents and purposes, have a sympathetic guy in Gotham, an optimist who's beaten down by the city. And what's going to happen is Gotham's cruelty will facilitate its worst nightmare in the Joker. I mean, I just love the bitter irony of that, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
This creepy shot. I'm convinced he's like ripping up these shoes, by the way. Okay, now this is cool. Now it's a little hard to tell, but on this little TV here, it's very period accurate TV. It looks like a talk show host and two guests. Now, my guess is that we're kind of facilitating the talk show that we're going to see a little bit later on here. And the idea is he probably
this is the same talk show that he's going to go on. That's going to bring us the big iconic comic book moment, as I've seen people speculating about.
I mean, it could be a movie or another TV show, but I would have said that's just kind of logic there. Of, okay, we're going to go to a TV show later on. Might as well, like in kind of a talk show. Might as well kind of see it going around. Why he watches and why he would pick that talk show of all things.
Mm.
Pulling kind of a little bit of Norman Bates here, just kind of dancing with his mother, all nice and happy like. And he's going on a date with Zazie Beetz, Domino.
Nice girl.
Yeah. I love this. A little what Phoenix is doing here, and something that people have kind of read into. I happen to agree with is that the idea is that he's very possibly we given given what we do, the smile song and everything. Smiling and laughter is a huge thing with him. Or basically kind of going the Tom King route with it. And I love this idea that we're attaching a lot of importance. Like, I think the big arc in the movie is going to be like a huge moment in the movie is going to be when he genuinely kind of laughs and smiles, because what we're seeing a lot of in this, I feel, is what he's trying to be normal. He's trying to be perceived as normal. He's trying to smile when the situation is socially acceptable. He's trying to kind of force a laugh. But I think it's like the age-old question of Tom King.
Like the tagline says, "Put on a happy face." I feel like that's exactly like it's like, put on a happy face according to society's expectations of when you should, even when it's not natural in your character.
That's the thing. Like, we're getting like these little.
Funny fact about me, I never show my teeth when I smile. Like, even when I'm genuinely smiling. And it's not that I have terrible teeth or anything. It's just I'm one of those people where when I do show my teeth, it's like kind of like oh God, that's unnatural. I don't know why. Maybe it's just in my own head. Maybe I'm self-conscious about it. But you know what I mean? It's kind of something I've struggled with, because even when I'm genuinely happy, people are like, "Tyler, you look down." And I'm like, no, not really. Anyways.
Right. Well, that's the thing. So the fact is that, again, he's manufacturing kind of a smile to fit into social situations. And, of course, what Tom King's kind of done, like with the War of Jokes and Riddles, this really great story they did recently in Batman. Well, I guess a year or so back. It's this really great thing where the idea is like the Joker's looking for something to laugh at. It's like right after 0 Year, Tiki, and the idea is like it's a story kind of, it goes back a few years, like to right after what happens to him in 0 Year. So basically, it's the Joker kind of forming himself, and it's the idea he's like trying to have a genuine laugh. And I won't say how, but let's just say it happens in kind of the climax of the third act. It's like, oh my God, it's like, that's great. So basically, it's kind of you get to see the origin, the creation of kind of the Joker, the maniac that we kind of know, love, and fear, And again, like that, what makes, it's the age-old question, what makes the Joker laugh? And of course, it leads to like a whole lot of horrifying things. And that's kind of, it's kind of what Tom King's done. I think it's kind of what the movie's kind of getting at. It's like when he laughs, it's going to be a big moment with this guy. You're going to see what makes him laugh in this really screwed up, twisted world that he lives in.
Sure. Also, we got Louise Brooks, 1920, in the chat.
Welcome, Louise.
All right.
Okay, so speaking of so we got to talk about the smiles. We got to talk about the song choice. So again, the song is Smile. I'm pretty sure it's called Smile. And here's the thing. So it originated, if I'm getting the history right, I believe it originated in a Charlie Chaplin film that we see referenced later on in the trailer. And it's sang by Jimmy Durante, famous, Jimmy Durante, of course, big one, the Frosty the Snowman. It's Jimmy Durante.
Yeah, sure.
And of course, what I love in the Chaplin biopic, one of my all-time favorite biopics, like top 5. I mean, I love the thing to pieces. Smile, because again, I'm pretty sure it originated in one of the Charlie Chaplin movies. I think they used the instrumental, and then basically the songs like played over the radio and everything. So the point is, in the Chaplin movie, Robert Downey Jr., they play that the instrumental and the song a few times, mainly the instrumental, and it's a beautiful thing, because the whole thing's about, there's this breathtaking scene in Chaplin where he gets really bad news and he has to smile for the crowd. Oh my God, it's such a beautiful scene. I mean, again, it's the obvious here. Of course, Richard Attenborough and everything. Obviously, you've seen the movie, right?
You're going to hate me. I have not.
I was just afraid I was going to embarrass myself by asking you, like, have you seen it? But okay, so at least I'm not far off on that. But seriously, trust me, Chaplin, that's the movie you have to. It's one of the great biopics ever made, man. That's
you know what else I haven't seen, and I'm only bringing it up because I'm going to get a chance to see it in theaters on Easter.
What?
Singing in the Rain.
You mean Never?
Never.
Oh my God.
Yeah, you'd think I would have seen it in film class or something, but
yeah.
At least I know I'm seeing it on Easter, and I'm seeing it on the big screen. So my time is coming for Singing in the Rain. That gap will be filled in my film history knowledge.
Well, just trust me, Tiki. Just the Chaplin movie is fantastic, but the smile motif within that movie applies to kind of again Charlie Chaplin's story. Again, the comedian who kind of has to. There's some really interesting stuff in his backstory, and kind of smile brings a lot of that out there. So, of course, for years, and I think I even did this when we did our Batman pitch, for the Affleck prequel. Basically, when we thought Ben Affleck was going to stick around for a while, we thought they were going to do like a prequel to what happens before Batman v Superman.
Oh man, that's honestly still one of my favorite pitches I did, because I had Michael B. Jordan as Two-Face, and I still think that's really good casting on my part.
Right. And
really mean Steve, Dragon. Really mean Steve.
Yep, really mean Steve. Anyway, no. But seriously though, so in that, basically, when we did that pitch, basically the crux of my pitch was, we were going to see, kind of the death of the death in the family story, the death of the Jason Todd Robin, and basically in the broad spectrum, these would have been like a trilogy of death in the family. Then you do basically Under the Red Hood is like the third installment of the thing, and you do Tim Drake in the middle there. Point being, I crossed off a lot of my Joker bucket list stuff in the pitch. Basically, all the songs I've wanted to play over Joker scenes, and one of them that I used in the climax, where basically I did the Tunnel of Love sequence for Dark Knight Returns. Basically, I was going to show you how. Again, bear in mind this was fitting into the whole DCEU thing where Batman punched out, retaliating for the Joker killing Jason Todd. They're in the Tunnel of Love. They were fighting, and from Joker's perspective, we were seeing Batman beat Joker within an inch of his life and break his teeth, hence the whole stupid grill and everything Jared Leto had. And I was gonna have Smile play over that sequence, because again it was about him breaking his smile. Smile like it's a lovely song and all that sort of stuff. So basically, Smile's always been like a bucket list thing, and that's kind of what we have throughout the show. I really hope they play it within the movie, given the whole Chaplin of. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't at least play a little bit of the Smile thing within this movie. Anyway.
Sure. Okay, so some going on in the comments really quick. Donovan saying, surprised that this trailer is going to be in front of Shazam. People will be like, WTF. Yep. Let's see. Louise says, I do love Chaplin. Rewatch the movie. I'm sorry.
It's on Amazon.
She's going to rewatch the movie before this movie comes out. And then Donovan and Louise both shocked that I've never seen Singing in the Rain. Reminiscing, like, even when I was a young boy, I saw parts of it with my father while watching it on TV. And let's see, Donovan saying, who knows, Michael B. Jordan might happen, since everyone besides Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot are, he said everyone besides Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot are still in, but I think what he means is that everyone besides Jason Momoa and Gal Gadot are out, as far as I know. Like, those two, I know they're not getting rid of those two anytime soon.
Right, that's what he meant.
By sticking around. But, anyways.
So this is great here. So we have this shot here where, so Fleck is going to Arkham State Hospital, which, I gotta tell you, I love the location. I love how this location looks, by the way. I don't know why. It's kind of Arkham, like, carved on stone. I've never seen Arkham look like this. It's really neat.
Now, has it been called State Hospital in the comics before? Like,
sometimes they've taken, because Asylum is kind of the age-old kind of way that what they would call, like an insane.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, look, I'm sure sometimes, in the 80-year history of Batman, it's yes, they probably altered it along the way. But it's it's not done often. Like, I think maybe sometimes it's been called Arkham Hospital, maybe. So again, a state hospital. I don't think it. I haven't really. I can't recall off the top of my head, but I'm sure there's like in Elseworlds they've probably done that before. So it would correlate with like an Elseworlds movie that we're kind of watching now. So, but
really quick, one point I want to make with Singing in the Rain, now that people are still like, that's the big talking point in the chat right now.
Broke a lot of hearts, Tiki. You haven't seen Gene Kelly melting hearts and minds with Singing in the Rain.
Dragon, as you remember, 2016, the movie that I went gaga over, and honestly, I gotta say, I rewatched it this past week, and it still holds up as like one of my top 5 movies of the decade. La La Land,
That's right,
big
folks.
fan of La La Land,
The
and
boy
from what
saw
I
La
hear,
La Land, but he did not see
takes a lot
Singing in
of
the Rain.
La La Land takes a lot of inspiration from Singing in the Rain.
Yep. Oh, real okay. Because now you're directing everything on "Singing in the Rain." Might as well mention it again. So again, just the two
Well,
songs
you
that
know
have
what? Singing in the Rain is about like Hollywood, so in the entertainment industry, so there's like a vague tie-in to this, I guess.
Okay, my point is, so again, I mentioned
Go ahead.
there were two songs on the Joker bucket list for me, and the other one comes directly from "Singing in the Rain." So that's why I just kind of realized, oh, there's a direct correlation. I might as well mention it. So there's "Smile," which kind of got here in the teaser. But my big bucket, I think I want to see what the Joker wants in film. I just want to see it realized. I want to see a scene where Joker's committing horrible acts set to make him laugh from "Singing in the Rain." That's what I want, because remember, I had that whole sequence where Joker's breaking out of Arkham and just, make him laugh as someone's like watching "Singing in the Rain," making laughs playing, and it's just it's a great sequence. That's my big that's the bigger bucket list thing. It's thinking like how is because no one still to this day has done anything with just like have make him laugh play while Joker's doing something horrible. Like how has that not been done? Anyway, okay, getting back on point. So seriously, this scene. So he goes to Arkham, and I love this. I love this moment right here where he goes to Arkham willingly. Which again, I love the great irony and the great kind of foreshadow of Joker. It's like this scene is kind of a symbol of the tragic fate of the guy, of the presumably the one bad day. Let's call it. There's a lot of one bad day foreshadow here, where he's gonna some. The idea is everything. This guy has kind of a life that's kind of growing miserable increasingly by the days, and sure there's gonna be one day where the man breaks and becomes the Joker. Hence the whole the vague killing Joker at all. So it's just this idea of a guy willingly going to Arkham to get help, to help himself in some way, shape, or form, and the idea like he's going to be, and again like this guy's all put together on the left here, and then you have a guy just kind of screaming and just horrifically kind of thrashing around like the Joker will be down once he's fully formed and probably kind of thrown there 100 times by Batman. Now again, I'm not saying we're ever going to see that based on where this movie's going, but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, sure.
Again, so I just love the dichotomy of this image, just kind of seeing kind of the kind of where he's at now, and where he's going, and kind of and honestly kind of the storm raging inside of the guy, possibly. Like again, this the madness. Is this enclosed space, and you have the madness kind of within the guy's psyche.
Oh, I like that. I like that. That's a good read on the shot.
And away in the Blue Man, of course, it's very kind of Arkham game influence too, because you have all these scenes in the elevator where it's like Batman and the Joker while he's strapped to a gurney. For this guy, this is Miles Morales' father from Spider-Verse, by the way. This is Brian Tyree Henry.
It all ties back together, Dragon.
A little fun fact: he's kind of the nurse orderly kind of guy there.
Okay.
Okay, this is a neat little Easter egg here. So again, with the John Wayne Gacy of the makeup, this comedy club is called Pogo's, and John Wayne Gacy, very infamously, he was Pogo the Clown. So,
yeah. Oh man, that's a good cut. That's a good pull.
And also, there's a comic strip that was called like a comedy comic strip called Pogo's or Pogo's Adventures or something. So it's kind of a double meaning. There's a bit of a comic correlation. I think the main one's got to be Pogo the Clown. So here's what I'm talking about the laugh. Remember, he's kind of forced. This is like a forced laugh. He's just trying to fit in with everybody else here, laughing at the comedian. And again, he's just trying to kind of make his dream come true, so to speak. You're kind of surrounding himself at the nightclubs and the scene, kind of wanting to be that guy, the guy making people laugh on stage, with all that confidence and everything. He's putting on the makeup and again forcing the smile here.
This is my favorite shot of the trailer, and there's a reason why I had you said it is our root image. I feel like this just kind of like sums up the movie in a way. It might be the editing, it might be just the sound mixing and the music beats as it happens, as we get that he's holding up the smile, and then I love the moment where he drops the smile and we see the frown and the music kind of drops a beat. Really good editing choice there, but I don't know. I just love the image.
But also, you'll notice he's crying. There's a little teardrop there.
Sure.
But I mean, yeah, just like on the whole, again, with this whole like what makes the Joker laugh? It's kind of like it's the quest for a laugh. That's kind of the main kind of I guess kind of that seems to be the kind of the driving the driving payoff for the movie. Like what's going to make this sad character just kind of come alive and be completely different from how he was at the start of the movie. What's going to transform him? But yeah, you're right. Just kind of like the snap there and the kind of drop that is also really.
Donovan, really big fan of the laugh, and also said he loved the edit I'm talking about.
Yep. And here you have kind of this mixture of kind of crying and laughing. So I presume my presumption is that this is the one bad day. Like this is the day that snaps. Like this is the moment, possibly the very moment, if not after. This is when it happens. But the fact that he might do something horrible to these guys once he's kind of kicked around here, for all we know, we don't know because of the edit. But he's kind of laughing here, kind of a laugh cry after presumably like the worst day of his life, and kind of laughing at how horrible it was.
Mm-hmm.
Again, kind of that laugh to fit in, perhaps, or trying to perk himself up for all we know. And of course, he's hitting. If we learn anything from Harley Quinn, the Joker versus the real world, you don't call Joker freak. That's the thing. Given this look here.
Oh God. That's
right. Given this. So that's the thing, too. Given this look he gives right here, it makes me wonder if he's going to snap in this moment and kill all those men. Because he's also running in this shot here, and again, he seems to be wearing, I believe, it could be a different outfit because I can't see the shirt quite well, but it looks like he's just kind of wearing this. He's probably going to kill these guys and try to get out of town before he makes a choice here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Oh, wait a minute. I'm sorry. I think I noticed a detail here. Let me see.
Oh, boy. Okay.
Yeah, that's just one more.
What do you got?
Looks like he's covered in blood. Face has some blood on it.
Oh, really?
Right. It's a little hard to tell. At the very least, that's either from him being punched or, again, maybe him, like, doing something horrible to somebody. But I think it's mostly shat. I think it's just him getting punched. So maybe don't get too excited by it. The point is there's some blood on his face, it looks like. So again, well, here it is. You can see it better
breaking
here.
News. You heard it here first.
Actually, here's some proof. You have the little blood and stuff on his face right here. So it's probably...
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
So I'm betting you
that's a feeling it's going to be from the aftermath of getting beat up.
Sure. I mean, yeah. So,
and he's running away from that. He's running away from like the mob attack on him.
Certainly.
Which, as you said, would be kind of like the kind of like the one bad day tipping point. So that's why now he's like embracing is like, all right, you know what? Fuck it. Like let's do this thing. You want to get nuts? Let's get nuts.
That's my take on it right there. I feel that moment is that one, presumably that one bad day. Like that's gonna be the period at the top. Like probably a lot of bad stuff. Like maybe he's like lost his job. He's probably like a slew of bad things probably happened to him earlier that day, and then the beating happens. And whether he just snaps in that very moment or he snaps, basically he's beaten up and he's snapped and he's gone home to kind of facilitate the transition. The point being, I think in that moment, he's going to see the joke of Gotham is that you're the one sap trying to be happy-go-lucky in a city that's beating you down, and he kind of sees the point of hopelessness there. So I think he sees kind of Gotham for what it is, and he laughs at it instead of like crying and doing something horrible to himself. He's just like, you know what? I'm gonna laugh at this. Basically, he finds what makes him funny. It's kind of the old Pagliacci joke, like I've come to see the Great Clown Pagliacci. You should go see the Great Clown Pagliacci, but Doctor, I am Pagliacci. It's like one of those moments. You know, where he's going to see kind of the hopelessness, he's going to laugh at himself, and he finds that, oh my God, that's what makes me laugh. So I'm gonna call that's probably what makes him snap here. And again, it's kind of awakened him. He's looking in the mirror here. He's getting all song and dancing. Again, has more of the kind of the style of the Joker here. It's kind of forming itself really. So the birth of the Joker is probably what this scene's kind of facilitating. All right, so this is another detail that makes me think we're absolutely in Gotham. This is Wayne Hall.
Oh, okay.
So this is cool. You see, here's the chaplain now. Specifically,
I missed that. I totally missed the Wayne thing.
So specifically, if I'm right here, this so the Chaplin movie that originated Smile, the song Smile, was Modern Times. And Modern Times is the Charlie Chaplin movie where he's caught in the gears and everything. He's the working man. It's kind of showing you like the the Industrial Revolution's kind of low points. It's kind of the idea of that movie. So it's So again, you can see the parallel with Gotham and kind of its current state and everything. So that's kind of what they're going for with modern times of all the Chaplin movies. But the point being, kind of like again, Chaplin, kind of the height of heights with comedy, and a guy who's all about kind of like the tragedy beyond the makeup and the presentation. So that's what the Chaplin biopic gets to, by the way, which you really want to watch. Seriously, before Iron Man, Downey Jr.'s finest performance was Chaplin, hands down. But, I believe he got nominated for the Oscar for that one. If not, he was snubbed.
Well, I mean, Iron Man is a very quippy performance, and it is very comics accurate to a certain extent. But I don't know, man. Judging from what you've told me, I feel like more legwork had to go into Chaplin. Honestly,
he transformed into Charlie Chaplin. I swear.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Like with Tony Stark, he basically is playing a meta version of his own persona.
Sure.
Anyways,
all right. So we're seeing Wayne Hall here, and presumably they're putting on kind of old celebration of Chaplin. And you'll notice there's a bunch of people in the crowd here, with the kind of these masks that we're going to see there with the green hair and the smile on it. And basically, the question I have after watching this, the one logistical question I have is, does the mob of clowns exist before the Joker, or has he inspired this?
I mean, I was just going by he inspired it. I mean, yeah, you're right. That is a good question.
Based on the editing, it suggests that he's in kind of
to me, I almost kind of took it as a more malicious kind of V for Vendetta, where instead of taking down the system, he's kind of going for a more general kind of chaos and anarchy with the mob. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, sure. I'm just saying what I'm saying is that probably is a trick of the editing, because he's kind of wearing the schlubby getup right now when he's being thrown out here, which makes me think this is earlier in the movie. And the clown mob already exists before the Joker kind of wanders by. That's what it kind of seems to me, based on that's based on the editing, folks. So again, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's a possibility to entertain that maybe they exist before him. But again, logically, the instinct is okay. So he formulates the mass brigade and everything, all the followers. But also, we have this great dialogue. So take a look at this. So this guy right here, this is Thomas Wayne.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
This is Thomas Wayne. The idea is kind of from his perspective.
I was wondering who this guy was. That's interesting.
So the idea is that Thomas Wayne is running for mayor, and that's why he's kind of talking about crime in Gotham and everything. And from the sounds of things, this is after Joker's committed his crime. That's what it sounds like. Because right now, you'll see Joker with this gun in his hand, and he's talking about someone wearing a mask who committed a crime, I believe, with a gun. And of course, I love the irony here. I love the parallel. So one, again, we're playing with the Joker's perspective. If we're doing a movie about the Joker, it's kind of the old Denny O'Neil philosophy that we kind of see with Harley Quinn, the Joker right now. It's kind of the old Denny O'Neil when he did a run of the Joker, like a 9-issue Joker series. How the heck do you do a series where you're following the bad guy? And the answer is you kind of follow him from his warped perspective. You kind of see him as the hero of his own story. And I think if Joker's the hero of his own story in this movie, if he's our lead, if we're seeing it from his perspective, Thomas Wayne and kind of our traditional kind of good guys are seen in an unflattering kind of villainous light, and that's kind of what we're doing with Thomas Wayne.
Yeah, interesting.
And it's really cool about this too is so Thomas Wayne is if Gotham has lost its way, and he's saying how could someone do something so cold-blooded, and who hides behind a mask? And given what traditionally happens to Thomas and Martha Wayne, again, the irony bounds of so a man with a gun wearing a mask, and of course his own son years later wearing a mask as Batman. You kind of have the traditional kind of way that goes, and it's some interesting parallels. So the irony of Thomas Wayne's words, as well as Joker as a symbol that facilitates. Basically, the idea is the Joker. He's going to be the symbol. It might be the symbol that facilitates, all these men wearing clown masks and just kind of random crime in Gotham, the random crime that will eventually take the lives of Thomas and Martha Wayne. I think that's kind of an interesting idea if they're going for that. I got a theory that I'll save it for the end. But remember this gun image. All right. Yeah, you're right, Dave. Look how machinist he looks right now. Right. All right, so we're in the subway here again. This is presumably the act that Thomas Wayne was talking about on the news right here. We're in the subway, and this is what a lot of the screens, a lot of the set photos have been showing right now, like him kind of walking away. Again, they're all wearing these clown masks in a movement here. This guy here is a cop. Now, here there's going to be two cop characters. Okay, we actually see them both right here. So there are two cop characters. This guy and the guy behind him, a little blurry right now, but here's the main guy, the guy behind him. Now, some people theorize this is a Gordon and Bullock here, and I don't know. I don't know what to make of that. It could just be average Joe cops, but I mean, I don't know. Maybe it'd be kind of neat if it was Bullock, I guess, but I don't know. You? Hello? All right. All right, let's see. So what else? Okay. All right, so let's see. So I'm sorry. So basically, so presumably Joker's committed his crime right here. It's going to spark the movement or done something within the movement.
All right, Dragon, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Right. Anyway, so I was talking about this scene here. So again, presumably he. All right. Sorry, let me rephrase that. We have a scene here where presumably Joker has done the thing that Thomas Wayne's talking about in the news right here, where again, like this movement, they're all wearing the very same clown mask and, commit a crime with a gun. And we have these two cops that are following. Some people theorize this is Gordon and Bullock. What's your take on that?
Oh man, you know what? You know what's funny, Dragon, is that honestly, like I'm kind of like on the opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to like all the speculation and crossover stuff, because to me, I kind of took this movie at face value of like, yeah, it's gonna be about a failed stand-up comedian who has a bad day and then turns into a John Wayne Gacy style serial criminal. And honestly, I thought that the vague Arkham connection was about as deep as it went, Dragon. I had no idea that the guy on the news was Thomas Wayne or anything like that. So, I got to tell you, you hitting me with all these theories and everything is kind of like I'm not looking that much into it. It's just like I don't know.
Anyway, so we see him put down the mask
It's
here.
because it's explanation for Randy and Sandy Newman. It's just like, look, he has a funny voice, and I thought it'd be funny if there'd be a female version of him. So it's funny. Anyways, go ahead.
Right. Okay, now this bit right here. So the idea, I'm assuming, is that so we saw Fleck kind of thrown out of that Charlie Chaplin event at Wayne Hall. So again, I think we're going to have a little bit of kind of a war of the classes here, where Arthur Fleck's a guy going through poverty. He's probably like asking for like money to help his mother or something. Probably again, he's trying to like get some financial relief or something. I don't know. Like, like maybe it's like a Medicare thing, maybe perhaps like hospital bills or something. He's probably going to Thomas Wayne, who seems to be kind of a general philanthropist, and Thomas Wayne probably turns him down. The point is, like Thomas Wayne, we're going to see him as the villain of Arthur Fleck's story. So the reason I say all that is because this scene right here, he's going on at the Wayne Manor, and that's Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, that's what Donovan is very excitedly. He's been pointing that out the whole chat. I've just been kind of waiting to get to it. But again, Dragon, when I was watching this trailer, I very naively thought, like, oh, that's kind of creepy. He's just doing that to a random little kid. I like the thought of Bruce Wayne literally never crossed my mind until I saw it come up with Donovan in the chat.
But I love I just love that it's just this really haunting bit, of it's gonna be this. Let me put it this way, okay?
Dragon, I'm sorry, just Donovan's kind of insisting on this. He's saying like the bit with the fingers, like making the smile. Very pedo, very pedo.
Yes, and that's the thing. So I was very John Wayne Gacy-esque. That's the thing.
Exactly, exactly.
But here's the thing, though. If he laughs at this, if Bruce Wayne genuinely is entertained by this, or gives like a laugh after he does something like this, I got to tell you how haunting that is. The idea is, like, again, that's Batman. It's kind of like a reverse Killing Joke moment almost. Like they shared that one laugh together, and so like in the rain years later, Killing Joke was kind of like the very beginning when they kind of first came across each other's paths.
Uh-huh.
It'd be creepy. Again, he seems, I don't know, I was taking that. Okay, so of course we have kind of the comedian dream being realized here, it seems. Arthur's, kind of going on stage there. Of course, we have a little shatter point here with, again, this is probably on the one bad day, I'm assuming here. Probably get some bad news, probably being fired, and he's probably just kind of breaking some of his head there. Now this, so he's in the
If I
dressing
were to
room right now.
speculate, I would say the one bad day would be probably him being fired, the mother dying, something happening with the Zazie Beetz character, like probably a breakup or something, all culminating in the subway ambush.
I think that's pretty on the money. Right here, you're going to see him in a dressing room. So this is basically, I think this is the success that ends off the trailer. I think it's him him right before he goes on in front of the audience. So he's in a dressing room. It looks like. So this is again him feeling very successful right now, putting his feet up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which,
Donovan's pointing out the music at the end with him walking down the hallway at the end gives him vibes of the Arkham game store and very Tim Burton feel as well.
uh huh. I love the line that he has. I love the line of I used to think my life was a tragedy. Now I realize it's a comedy. I think that's the perfect
That's
line.
a great line. That's a great line, especially because like what I love about that is like to me it's like there's almost something kind of like inherently darker about comedians, like as we've seen time and time again, like comedians kind of have like this more cynical worldview a lot of the times, and their profession is just them kind of like channeling it. And I don't know, man, I really like, like take for example Robin Williams, where this guy, like he had a very soft cuddly demeanor, but the man, there were issues that haunted the man for his entire life, and issues that he would bring up in some of his more serious work. So I don't know, it's just an interesting kind of like dichotomy for me of the identity of comedians and what they represent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, what I love about it is it's Joker's take on what a tragedy would be. Where the Joker, if he found out he was in a tragedy, he would get it. He would laugh at it. I think it's just the perfect line that economizes who that character is. Where it's like I used to think my life was tragedy. Now I realize it's a comedy because that's the thing. Like Joker would laugh at the tragedy, which again is pretty much what we're probably going to find out with that whole one bad day thing within the movie. It's just going to be that more. He kind of looks his laugh. Basically, his life at its lowest point, he's going to realize how sad it is and how sad his existence is. He's going to laugh at it, and it's going to give him new life and laughing at the old life. Speaking of comedians, now we have here's Robert De Niro.
Oh God!
We have Robert De Niro here as the host of the talk show here. Blanking on his
I
name.
almost forgot that Robin De Niro was in this movie.
So the cool thing about Robert De Niro, and I'm getting a sense, given the fact that you haven't seen Singing in the Rain, I can make no assumptions anymore. But there's a movie called The King of Comedy. Ever see it?
Nope.
There's this really great movie called The King of Comedy. It was by Scorsese. Scorsese did it, and it's one of the early.
I've heard people comparing this to King of Comedy a lot,
and it is very apt. And this is
not seeing King of Comedy myself.
The point being, this is a direct reference to King of Comedy because what happened in that movie was it's De Niro is a wannabe comedian. He's kind of like an autograph hound comedian. Jerry Lewis plays a character in the movie. Jerry Lewis is like the big name comedian, and basically he wants. I think he's playing. No, I want to say it's Jerry Lewis playing himself, but they may have given him like a different last name. The point is, it's Jerry Lewis or like some fill-in for Jerry Lewis being played by himself.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, Jerry Lewis is a big name comedian, and he wants a shot, and he was like, please, Jerry, let me impress you, see my set, because he wants to be. It's like, what if Jerry Lewis like ran the Tonight Show? It's kind of what the idea was. Like, what if he was a comedian who kind of gave other comedians their big breaks and their first shots on a talk show, And the climax of it is that De Niro he gets really psychologically disturbed, and he obsesses over Jerry. He believes like they're the best of pals and the best of friends, and he does a big stunt at his talk show. I don't want to spoil it, but let's just say he has a really big kind of crazy thing to him, and it's a really great turn of events. It's really interesting what happens, and at points there's a lot of Joker parallels to that, and they kind of brought that into the fray here. So now he's playing the Jerry Lewis type here with the talk show. So it's kind of an irony there. So and of course I think what the movie's going for, as I think Kyle Decker said earlier on, there is a Scorsese vibe here, and I love that. It's like I haven't seen. I think Todd Phillips is definitely going for a Scorsese vibe. Which I mean, given movies like I, Tonya feels like a Scorsese movie on skates. I think it's even been heralded as that on by a few critics, and I absolutely agree with that assessment. That I, Tonya is a Scorsese movie on skates. If you emulate Scorsese enough, you can make great things happen. So I think that so far all of this is jiving really well, and pulling from the King of Comedy is an excellent move, and I think that facilitates this last bit here. So he's basically walking out on stage. It's very Tonight Show looking curtain. Now a lot of people made the very smart assumption that he goes out on stage. I think we're going to have like a little homage to Dark Knight Returns. You remember the whole talk show scene, Dark Knight Returns, where he kind of
that's what I keep hearing. That's what I keep hearing for sure.
That's what I think is going to happen. Either that, or that's going to be the very ending of the movie, where he just goes out and he basically kind of tells the joke of what Gotham did to him, like one of those two things. Like it's either he's going to kill everyone in the audience, or he's going to make them all kind of sober up and realize that he's being heralded for all sorts of terrible stuff that he's done.
Or he's going to make Two-Face Harvey Dent, played by Michael B. Jordan, sing It's a Wonderful World by Louis Armstrong.
No.
Deep cut into my pitch there.
All right, now here again we have
blue.
And right here we can have like a movement that's been started here. And the idea is, look, I'm going to say this. So even if the movement exists before him, I think the idea is like now the movement's going to get violent and more kind of random crime-ish once the Joker kind of makes a violent statement that they're all going to emulate. So even if they exist before him, I think I think it's going to go even further with the jokes. I don't think it's going to kill the idea if they go the other way with that. But again, we'll see what happens. It's only a teaser.
Sure.
They have him running with a file. I think this is him probably trying to he's either grabbing his own file or maybe his mother's medical file or something. He's just going to run him down the hallway. Like, boom! Right here, Joker's going to hit by a cab. I don't know quite what to make of that, but he's probably just making an escape from that subway scene, I guess. There's a really creepy shot here. He's kind of dyeing his hair green, so with the little bleed down there. Look at the look in the man's eye right there. That's tremendous. Right? Look at that.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was saying about the trailer. It's like as we're going on, he's just getting more and more striking. Again, he's so skinny, Dragon. He's those sunken in eyes. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I'm really getting a good feeling about this one.
So again, look at how much confidence he has when he walks compared to how he was walking as Arthur Fleck.
That's exactly what I'm saying. And like I said, he's wearing the same exact makeup. And Dragon, this is a point I've been wanting to make is, remember when this makeup first leaked and people were like, oh, I don't know, this might be like, him doing a regular clown bit. And then later on, we see a more evolved take on the Joker makeup that's more close to the comics.
Yeah.
No, this is fully realized Joker in the movie. This is what the fully realized Joker looks like right here. And goddamn, freaking Joaquin just owns it, man. He owns it. He makes it his own.
He does, and of course,
this.
I love the Silver Age kind of Joker, the classical kind of Joker suit we got going on. The colors are maybe a little lighter, but the point is that he looks great. He looks straight off the page. I mean, like Nate Productions, I believe, was really in love with that design choice too. Like it's just the whole kind of the classic. Again, it's a different take on the makeup for sure. But again, like there are a lot of classic homages here. Like if you had a flower, like it'd be perfect. It's like one of those things. Well, speaking of which, there's flowers right there. So beggars can't be choosers. It's great.
Pretty flower for a pretty lady.
I guess you're singing in the rain moment here, but again, he's just kind of walking down these stairs with style.
And again, I love the energy that Phoenix just exudes here.
And again, this is what I'm loving. I love how we keep building this. teaser, at least we keep building to like the legitimate smile. We get like a smirk. We're not there at the full smile yet, you know, it's a little legit smile.
Uh-huh.
But again, it's like that little smirk of like, I like where this is going. You know, it's
Oh
great.
yeah.
Now let me
Oh
hit
yeah.
you with a theory I have. Okay,
Okay.
so I think what Todd Phillips is going for, I think the brilliance of like how this movie is going to end, where he's going with all of this. I think Todd Phillips is, if he's successful, I think what he's going to end up doing is selling us on the '89 origin of Batman, where Joker killed the Waynes. And I think we're going to build to that where we're going to see him kind of have a little bit of that rivalry with Thomas Wayne, and whether it be by his own hand or just the random crime that he's facilitated. We saw earlier in the trailer, we saw him with a gun. He's kind of holding this gun. I think that gun may be like the gun that's eventually going to be involved in the Wayne murder. I think this movie could end with him gunning down the Waynes, and he creates Batman in the last moments of the movie. How neat would that be?
Sure, sure.
Could be that. It could be again. Could be just like facilitate like just a random criminal kills the Waynes, but again, a random criminal that was inspired by with a clown motif, inspired by him. Again, that could also work. But again, like either that or just again, the point is, however we end it, and even if it ends with him just going in front of the audience, it could end with the bit where he's like walking out, the curtain shot.
Ooh, I like that. I like that. Although if that does happen, then that would be a total like Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. Like, welcome to Jurassic World. Hey, it's the ending shot of the whole movie, and we're just gonna put it into the trailer.
Sure, sure. But I mean, seriously though, again, the point is, I think we're going to see him go out on the stage. But I'm saying with this whole bit there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Regardless, I think the great thing about that, they kind of honors the character and really says something about him, is that again, if you're going to do a piece that follows the Joker, you need that sobering reminder. And one of two sobering reminders is he walks out on stage and he talks about like how you all accepted me even after I've done these horrible things. Because the idea is that he's become famous for doing bad things, and they invite him onto a talk show. That's the idea here. It seems
Right, right.
Either that, or again, either that, and he used the opportunity to kill the audience, and it's unknown. But regardless, it's the fact that he's probably going to have some. That's a statement within itself, and again, it's a sobering reminder of yes, you followed a villain that you rooted for despite your better judgment, and that's the Joker. The Joker, when written properly, is a character who he makes you laugh and he makes you hate yourself for it. It's like one of those moments where it's like you followed him and you just kind of went along for the ride, and you realize that. Of course, the movie could end with the Waynes being killed. Again, Wayne's being killed because you followed this guy for the whole movie. I don't know, there are a lot of interesting directions it could take.
Yeah, we'll see.
All right, anything else in the comments?
Let me check. Donovan's really excited about Shazam tomorrow night. He's seen it in 3D. Let's see. He said got the in-game tickets at 4 a.m. yesterday. We'll talk about that on the movie memoirs. Donovan, movie memoirs is going to be this Friday because Dragon's seen Shazam tomorrow night, so we're not going to have time to record that tomorrow night, but we will have time to record it on Friday, so look for that then. And by all means, we'll definitely talk about Shazam. And we'll also be talking about the endgame ticket situation. Dragon, you have an endgame ticket story that I have no idea what it is. And you'll be regaling me with that. I hope it's a good story and not a bad story, but we'll see. We'll see. Anyways, Donovan's just generally talking about the sites being crashed on the Avengers, which, like I said, we'll talk about on the movie memoir. So,
what anything about Joker?
No.
I guess for me, final thoughts I just want to say with the Joker movies again, based on this teaser. I think what's going to happen, Tiki, is again, I think more people are going to be won over by it when they realize that it's kind of a one shot. And again, assuming they honor that, I think it's going to be I think it's going to get a lot of acclaim. It's going to be looked at as kind of an art piece talking about the character. And I think that's a great way to go about it. That's a perfect way to go about it. And I got to tell you, I'm kind of people have been saying this for years. DC just kind of focus on like doing these one shots, basically kind of doing what they're doing in animation, where they adapt work, so they kind of do these Elseworlds stories, and we're kind of bringing it to the big screen. It's a thing I've been waiting many years to see, and I got to tell you, part of me can't believe that it's kind of finally happening with this film, and it's going to be done right. It seems it's going to be done right and artfully, and going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, like I said, the only thing that I'm a little bit skeptical about is Todd Phillips as director, because those Hangover sequels were not pretty. But
They were not.
we'll see.
But again, if this is a movie about a bad comedian, though, and again, maybe a guy who's not apt at
Yeah, maybe there's some meta quality there. Yeah, I'm
might
hoping
be.
for the best.
All I can say is if it lives up to the trailer, I think it's going to be good. Of course, that's a very, again, it's a very dicey statement. Of course, if a movie lived up to the trailer, but still, I mean, if this shows a lot of promise for Todd Phillips, bear in mind, could be he has the world's best editor on a trailer, like a trailer editor that that Sony needs like the day is long,
Oh.
But, yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, folks. Like I said, we will be doing the movie memoirs on Friday. We'll be talking Shazam briefly. We'll be talking about Dumbo, Captain Marvel, Wonder Park, the epic masterpiece that is Wonder Park. Dragon, how dare you haven't seen Wonder Park yet in theaters?
Yeah, you're right. I was just rewatching Singing in the Rain for like the 5th time. So yeah, sure.
And I just saw the Beach Bum, Dragon, and let me just say, the Beach Bum more than lived up to my expectations, and I've definitely got things to say about, like, holy shit, like, this movie literally feels like it's in the same universe as Serenity. It feels like the same crazy video game that Serenity takes place in. So I'll have some things to say about the Beach Bum. Dragon, take us out with a good Joker quote. You do a good Hamill.
I used to think my life was a tragedy. Now I realize it's a comedy.